Today's show is brought to you by The Audio Plus, your musical store, The Hit Spot, Uniform Depot, Quick Kicks, Love Yourself, Signature Dream Weddings, changing the outlook of weddings forever, Nitro Film Records, breaking sound barriers faster than the eyes can see.
There's a lot of people who have a lot of different opinions, and a lot of these people never went to your church. No woman prime minister.
I won't support it. I won't support it. I won't support it.
I saw 2 Punch articles about you. All right, you read those articles?
I would say so.
This email that's going around, there's more rumors about you. What do you think about, you read those emails that went around?
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Trendsetters, name brand fashions, and obsessions indulge in your pleasures.
Epic Battery, ever producing instant current. Price busters, savings and a smile in every aisle.
Ideal Auto, tinting and accessories.
And we survived simply of at that time. I was a Roman Catholic. We survived at that time on what the Catholic Church gave us. Because the Catholic at that time was the only church that were giving out anything. And then they had a man named Mr. Kelly. You know, that was the UBP time. Mr. Kelly used to come around every Christmas. And he used to give you clothing, and they had some cheese. You could play with it and eat it. It used to be like a saxophone. You could blow it and it make music. Yeah, they used to have this cheese. It was cheese. And they had it so where you could have blow it and it would make a song, and you blow it till you're tired and eat. And so that's what we survive on. And I remember somehow it used to happen. The ships used to seem always to run ashore in Bannerman Town, and cans of what they call butterfat used to come to shore. And so we used to pick it up, but you had to hide it under your floor, because if the government knew you had it, they would have taken it from you because they claimed it was no good. But those butterfat used to last for years and weeks, and you bake your bread and use your butterfat and you straight.
Wow.
And so we survived.
So all right, you was a poor boy in Eleuthera. How did you get Nassau?
Well, wait, before, quick, because you're going to do a trans. Okay, schooling in Eleuthera.
I went to Greencastle all-age school. I was extremely mischievous in school. I remember at that time, you know, your teachers used to come from away. Canada, England, wherever. We had one there named Mr. Roberts, and then you had Mr. Thompson, and then when we had Mr. Gibson, he was a Bahamian. But I was extremely mischievous in school. But I attended the Greencastle all-age school, and until I got a certain age.
So you was a bad boy?
I don't know if I would call bad as much as mischievous. And because my mother was dead, and so I settled in myself, no one was going to take advantage of me. And no one was going to take advantage of my brother. No one was going to take advantage of my sister. So I developed a habit to cuss. I could have cussed. I would have cussed at a snap of a finger.
Like a man who was sailing.
Yeah, man who was sailing. And so you knew that you didn't mess with me. I remember one time in the school, we used to go in contests, singing contests, and the school went to Harbour Island. Harbour Island have always won the contest, but they would always curse us because, you know, they were white and we were black. And so one day we went and our school win, and Harbour Island children started to curse us. And so the teacher then stood me up on a monument that they had. I cussed till I was tired, and I asked him to bring me some water. So if you use the time machine, I just used to cuss a lot.
Okay, and that was all-age school. Now we going into your transition. You grew up in you were an adult in Eleuthera also?
No, I stayed in Eleuthera until I got a certain age, and then we moved to United States. But you see, my life in Eleuthera was so long till it seemed as if a lifetime. I started working in Eleuthera at 11. At age 11, I worked as a coffee boy to the then Cotton Bay Club. And then I worked as a waiter to the Cotton Bay Club. I was very poetic at that time. I used to put poems together. And so the school used to perform for the guests. And one day I did a poem entitled, If Once You Slept on an Island, You'll Never Be Quite the Same. And there was a guest by the name of Miss Wilkerson who heard me recite that poem. But then her and her husband was buying into the Cape Eleuthera. And after I recited that poem, she asked me to come to Cape Eleuthera to work with them. And then so I work at Cape Eleuthera. I did night ordering. I did switchboard operator. I work as a dock master at Cape Eleuthera.
How old were you?
I would be anywhere between 11 and 16.
What? And doing these big jobs?
And doing these big jobs.
So you was a child prodigy. She was a little genius.
I don't know all of that. But, you know, I done those jobs. And then finally, I work in charge of the Cape Eleuthera Yacht and Marina Restaurant. And it was then at that point I moved throughout the United States because I was always traveling backward and forward. I was already preaching at that age. And so then we move into the United States. And hence we go.
At what age did you get saved?
I was 9.
So you was always saved?
Now, it depends on how you determine. I accept the Lord Jesus at 9. And then I was not mature in the things of God. And so I had to grow to perfection and to learn the things and the ways of God and understand that as a Christian, certain things I could not do that I was still doing.
Like cussing?
No, I didn't really cuss at that point. I find a religious way to cuss. I
didn't cuss religiously.
you just tie it onto something, and you move certain phrase. And so I didn't really outward cuss at that point.
Okay.
But I always would have told you what on my mind. You did not mess with me, and I did not answer you back. It didn't matter to me who you are.
Oh, you was like me when you was young.
Oh yeah, you didn't. Nobody intimidated me. You know, you did not intimidate me. Your size, your color, your money, your political persuasion, no matter what you had or didn't have, did not intimidate me.
Oh, you was like me. That's why my spirit take to you like that. Okay, so when did you start preaching? And why?
I began preaching short after 10, I would say. I remember I started to go on street meetings, and I have traveled every major island in the Bahamas. I've traveled every major island in the Bahamas as a child. I went to the majority of the countries. I used to do a world tour. I started at 18 doing a world tour every year.
Oh, man.
Every year. I started at 18 doing a world tour every year, going to the major countries of the world. Some of them, I didn't speak a lick of English. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what they were saying. And so I started preaching at an early age, going around 10. Most of the people in this country right now would know me preaching as a little boy.
Wow.
Because, now you must understand, I was adopted twice. My first adopted mother was Mildred Camp Edwards. She used to live in Farrington Road, Hibiscus Avenue, and Wallace Road, right on the corner. She died. And then my adopted mother that is still alive is Dorothy Knowles out of Yellow Elder. And so we travel around the country together. So most people would know me as a little boy. Reverend Colebrook, bless his name, his aunt that died, his wife Betsy and them used to travel around with me as a child. And when it was time to preach, they would wake me up because I'd be fast asleep. And they would say, you're down to the sermon now. And so that was where I started. I started there. Then I was ordained by the Reverend Leroy Ruka, St. Paul's Baptist Church. I was about around the age of 18, 19.
And in Fox Hill?
Fox Hill.
Where Ramming is now?
Where Ramming is now.
Oh, okay.
I used to live there with Mother Kay and all of the older people. So the older people would have known me through traveling through this country preaching as a child. I was known then as the little boy preacher.
Wow. So you was international before Miles Monroe and Neil Ellis?
I don't know about all of that. I didn't even know if it was international at that time. All I knew, I was carrying the gospel of